and welcome back to BGG's coverage of the Origins Game Fair 2019. I am joined this time by Alex Goldsmith from Gray Fox Games. Hey Alex, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you, Chaz.
And you have here Gem Hens?
Gem Hens. So this is from our Casual Imprint Social Sloth games.
Oh.
We just started releasing games through that this year, Creatures and Cupcakes, Phalanx, and Gem Hens.
All right.
This is brand new for Origins.
Cool.
So this is a game where you are trying to build the best jeweled egg. In this gem grain bag, we have all sorts of different gems. We have diamonds, we have emeralds, we have sapphires, rubies, all sorts of fun things. And they range in rarity, as you'll see on the player boards here. So amber is super common, whereas diamond is super rare.
All right.
We're going to be adding them to these facets on our board. Only one type of gem can go in each facet. So if we're adding onyx, all three of these have to be onyx.
Okay.
We're going to be collecting these by rolling these dice, so rolling a certain number of dice at the start of the turn. So this would be placed in 1, and this one would be placed in 4. And a 2-player game, we'd have one gem that would start the game at that intersection there.
Okay.
Our chickens start in the hen house, and at the start of the round, we will have a big roll-off.
We'll
have 20-second roll dice as much as you can, and then place them in the actions. So let's explain what the actions are. We have 1 is move 1 space, 2 is move 2 spaces, 3 is move your chicken 3 spaces, 4 or 5 lets you drop more gems on the board, and 6 is what we'll use for turn order. So we'll determine what turn order is, and then we'll re-roll all of them.
All right.
And figure out what they'll be.
Like, oh, I got a 6, I want a 6. Oh, 2 4s, I want 2 4s. Okay.
Right, yeah, as fast as you can, kind of within that 20-second span. Once you have those, we're then going to go in turn order, taking actions, and sending our chickens out of the hen house to catch the gems that are on the board. Once you land on a gem, you can gobble it up and add it to your board space. Again, these facets are meant to be filled with only the same type of gem. But if, let's say, your board is filled up, this settings happen later in the game, where you can't hold any more of a certain type of gem, you are then going to have to take that as negative points. If you can't place a gem, it counts against you. And the more valuable the gem is, the more negative points it is. So if you waste a diamond, that's -7 points at the end of the game. So you'd better be awfully careful. Game plays 2, 3, or 4 players. The amount of these intersections that come out is determined based on here. Actually, I think I messed this up a little bit. There we go. 6 and 2.
All right.
So we'd have more intersections, so you'd have another gem there.
And how do more and more gems come out on the board?
So as action, so remember we were rolling all these dice, and we have 4 or 5. Let's say with a 4 or 5, I could, as an action, place a gem in this row, and then everywhere it intersects, I'm going to draw from the bag and add another gem right there.
And as more dice come out, is it more dice at a time, or does it even itself out? So it's a steady stream?
It evens it, so it's more of a it's more of a steady stream, and it's kind of player dependent. How many of these are you going to keep in a round? So you could choose to keep all of those, but you won't be able to move your chicken around very much to actually collect them. Part of the interesting thing too is, especially late game, let's say you were sitting in this space, and I wanted to hit you with what could be negative points. I could drop one of these on this space, and we get a gem here, and then a gem would fall right on your head, which you have to take. No matter what color it is.
Because those chickens are hungry.
They are hungry chickens. They're just feeding gems back. So at the end of the game, they're going to be worth certain points depending on which facet they're in. So if you're super ambitious and put diamonds in the 5 spot, the big spot in the middle of the board, that's a whopping 20 points, which is a pretty good chunk of points.
Absolutely. Okay, so you not only have to make the choice of how much I roll and where I'm putting these, then you also have the intersections, and so where you move your chicken, you could kind of put yourself in a position where you could kind of get negative points from your opponents. So there's quite a few little decisions to be made here.
Yeah, definitely. It's a game that certainly with the theme, the more of the farm theme, seems simple on its face, but there's a good amount of depth here for gamers too.
There really is. This is I went in not seeing this yet, so there's a layer after layer.
And I will note that there's a variant for advanced play
I was going to ask
where
about
you have
that.
these power cluck cards, and so these are abilities that you'll draft at the start of the round. They will give you, so let's say we picked up the Wanderer that lets you move 1 additional space when spending movement die. That's pretty useful. They're only active for 1 round of the game. The game is a 3-round game. So you'll have different powers as the game goes on. This one lets you re-roll 1 unused die from your board. So it gives you the ability to be flexible. Let's say you had too much movement up here and you really need to drop more gems on the board. It lets you do that.
And did you say each round we get a new one? Or
Each round there will be enough of these based on the number of players, and then you're going to draft them to determine which ability you get.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And is this just the first player of the round marker?
Not exactly. It's more of the round marker to kind kind of indicate, okay, this is here, here. First player and all of that is determined by these little discs here, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
All right, and what about these goodies over here?
So these are just tied to specific power click cards.
Okay.
Certain power click cards will use those in different funky ways.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you can have different funky chickens?
Different funky chickens. And again, you can play without these, and it's still a perfectly fine set collection game, works really well.
Okay. So how long is a typical gameplay?
It would be about 30 to 45 minutes, depends on your player count, but it's not a super long game.
Okay. And you said, so is this available starting now at Origins?
It is available starting at Origins, yeah.
Excellent, excellent. And what's the price point going to be?
Price point is $29.99.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Very nice. Let's see. So that is, I think the last thing I was going to ask also, that I forgot to ask, was how many players?
Plays 2 to 4.
2 to 4.
No solo mode with this one. Sorry,
right.
sorry everyone.
That's okay. Still, that is quite a feather in your cap. Sorry.
Dun, 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 dun. You had to make at least one.
I couldn't help it.
At least one.
Oh, Alex. So yeah, that is Jim Hens, and thank you so much for stopping by and sharing this with us.
Thanks, Jess.
All right, and we'll be back with some more games coming up next.